Sup, nerd?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another SupCast podcast. This is sort of like the little brother of our official podcast thing that's happening with our founder, the hostess with the mostest, Victoria Chang on
Hostess with
MediaCorp
the most.
and Spotify. But here we're not sponsored by anybody, but like we're gonna talk about
Not
stuff that
yet.
we're passionate. Yeah, not yet. We're not sponsored yet, but we're gonna talk about things that we really like. And today, we have a very special guest. I'm Adam Tuna. I'm the comics and movies editor on SupNerd, and we have our self-proclaimed FPS nerd, and also you're a professional shoutcaster who covers like a wide range of games. This is Tuna Quack, also known
Yep.
as.
Just Quack, basically. I use my last name for my caster handle. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. Your handle is I am Quack, right?
Yeah, hey, I'm Quack, because that's how I introduce
Okay.
myself. What do I do?
That's pretty
Well,
cool.
I mean, to be fair, is it Tun Ong?
It's a
And that's
Burmese
how
name, so
Tuna-
it's like it is tough. But yeah, you're close actually. You're closer than when Vic tried to.
Was I
pronounce
closer
it.
than Vic? Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
all I wanted.
Good job, man. Tuna is fine, but yeah. Your name is actually pretty cool because Control Quack. It's as if you're named by like Stan Lee, like Matt Murdock,
The cake.
Bruce Banner, those kind of things. I mean,
Peter
hold on.
Parker.
It's a good segue. Or like Peter Parker. So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's long overdue because it's been like 3.5 weeks since it came out, or
yeah.
almost 4 weeks, right? No, wait, 3
Quite a
weeks.
while. It's
So we
been
are-
long enough that spoilers start showing up on Facebook and
Yes,
everything.
yes. Usually we have like a 2-week kind of a grace period, but because of it was Christmas and New Year's kind of a thing.
Mm.
Now it's been 3 weeks. So spoiler warning first for No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. That's what we're gonna geek out about today with Cantrell and me, Adam. So, dude, let's talk about for you first. Like, what was your first experience
cool.
with like Spider-Man and also the Spider-Man movies?
Well, I mean, I guess I am relatively younger. That's kind of sensitive, but yeah, I never really grew up reading comic books, not that much anyway. I mean, I wanted to, but my parents were like, comic books. You read textbooks instead.
There are bad things
study
in those
math.
funny pages.
Yeah. No, like my mom would actually like, what's the morale of the story? If you're going to buy this book, what are you going to learn from it? And then that was how she would kind of justify to me, do you need this book or not? But that's kind of how Spider-Man became something that meant quite a bit to me, because I think just reading up on Wikipedia and stuff, I don't know, apparently like superheroes were for the most part adults and stuff, and then they would have like this teenage sidekick or something, and then they would like learn about what it means to be a hero and everything. But Spider-Man was one of the first few ones that he was a teenager, didn't have a mentor or anything. He learned stuff on his own, unless you count his uncle Ben, but he's not around. So for me,
Not
the very
around
first
anymore.
Yeah, it's not around. I didn't really read that many of the comic books, but my first movie definitely was the Tobey Maguire one.
First
but
one,
I think
2002
yeah,
one? Right.
very first one. Kind of skipped the second. I watched that much later on.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me. But I very vividly remember around Singapore secondary school age, so young preteens. That was when I saw the Andrew Garfield ones, and that was the one that I remember the most because it just meant so much to me. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Spider-Man.
Interesting. So Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man, the first film, which came out in 2012. That was the first. That was your first major Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, the one that I truly remember.
Cool. For me, you know that I'm ancient. Everybody talks about this. I'm ancient. I've been around since before computers were around.
For real,
Video
is
games
that
were
an
around.
actual
Yeah, it's
thing?
that. Yeah, it is. I guess I was around before the NES. So,
Okay.
um, for me, yeah, comic books. That's where I first discovered like Spider-Man. But the problem for me is when the first Raimi Maguire movie came out. It was 2002. By that time, I was like 20 years old. So you can do the math and
Oh,
like figure out how old I
okay.
am right now. um, I saw it in the cinema, and for some reason, it didn't hit me that much. I was just kind of like, I don't like cheesy, campy stuff. So that was my issue with the whole. Again, where we're jumping straight into it, we're gonna talk about how we're not that big of a fan of the Raimi trilogy, even though a lot of people are like, "Oh, apart from the third one, the first two are the greatest comic book movies," which I'm sorry, doesn't work for me at all. It was just like way too campy when it came out. Recently, I rewatched some scenes. I couldn't sit through the entire movies again. So, but like they did not age well, and you can't
Yeah.
call something like a movie a classic that didn't
If it
age
doesn't
well.
age well,
That, for
right?
example, right, if you look back at some of the more older movies like Jurassic Park from 1993,
Mm.
right, even the first Blade, which is technically sort of
Oh,
like the first Marvel
Marvel.
movie, right, in 1998, they they aged well. Even if you're talking, not just talking about the graphics and the visuals, the acting, storytelling. You go back to like even the 1970s before I was born. Close enough, but yeah. Jaws, Alien,
Hmm.
those kind of movies age well. The Spider-Man,
That's
the
a
Raimi
classic.
trilogy,
Eh.
I can, man. I do agree that like it was the first time for everybody to see like that kind of a Spider-Man
Mhm.
on that kind of a level on screen. It just doesn't for me. It doesn't hold up, man. What are your thoughts on the trilogy? Let's start with the Raimi trilogy first.
I agree. I mean, campy is one way to describe it for me. What I was thinking when I was rewatching it recently was just it's so goofy. It really has
Right?
that really cheesy vibe. I mean, acting and all that aside, it's just how it's done, how it's produced, that the scenes and everything. It's just it's like they knew that it would be a little bit funny, so they threw those jokes in with I can't get it out of my head.
No,
Jumping
dude.
into the third one, it's just
The third one
pointing.
was like the worst. I mean, everybody agrees that even the fans agree that like Tobey Maguire fans and Raimi fans agree like the third one is like, oh yeah, it doesn't exist. It's like that Green Lantern movie. Like nobody talks
Oh
about it. Like
yeah.
no, no, didn't happen.
Yeah. Nope.
It's just that like I don't know, man. For me, the whole trilogy, if you look at it, I think it just boils down for me, right, to Tobey Maguire.
Really?
I, I just don't think he's a. I mean, there are other like issues such as like Kristen Dunst,
Uh,
like MJ, the overacting, everything, the cheesy people clapping, like
oh
during
yeah.
like climatic scenes, like climactic. I can't speak tonight. Climactic scenes where something happened, like your death-defying stuff, and they just stand there and clap. I really hate.
Yeah.
I really, really hate that. I can't.
It's a New Yorker spirit. They gotta cheer Spider-Man on
Which
whenever they see him.
actually, again, good segue into the clapping part. You notice, like for the Andrew Garfield and Mark Webb's, like Spider-Man movies, Amazing Spider-Man movies. Um, the first one, you don't have such a scene at all. It was quite dark, quite serious. I think they were trying to do the whole, Batman, the Nolan trilogy type of like serious, kind of a
Ah,
darker tone. I enjoyed it. I mean, the first movie got issues, but the
ooh,
second movie
actually.
that came out, 2014, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, from the first scene, like, yeah, quipping is fine, but you see like Rhino,
That
I'm
was
like,
a little bit
what
weird.
the? I think the studio was asking Mark Webb to do the Raimi stuff, Sam Raimi, like the
Mm,
campy stuff. Look at like, oh my God, look at Electro. Jamie Foxx, Academy Award winner. It feels like he fit in the old Adam West Batman series, even though it's like a different universe. But it's that level of campiness where we're like, huh. And there's a lot of scenes of New Yorkers just what you were saying, right? Just standing there, just clapping away, like,
hey, girl, Spider-Man.
What is this? Oh God, I really hated that. So like, Webb had a cool take for the first movie. I think it's the studio that pushed him to do like a not so cool take for like Raimi. And
Maybe.
it's kind of sad that like it stopped at like two. The overall themes were like it's good. I really liked it. It was dark, but the whole MCU happened, and so for you, the Amazing Spider-Man stuff was like your first proper intro to Spider-Man, right? How
Yep.
you liked the first one? How did you feel about the second one? You heard my opinion. Like, well, how did you feel about it?
Well, I do agree that some of the stuff that they did, Jamie Foxx trying to set up for a possible third one with, I mean, not just Rhino. They had, I think, Michael Mando, the guy who acted as Voss in Far Cry 3, if you've ever played that game. I think they were trying to set him up to be Scorpion, but then we don't actually see anything happening.
Wait, wasn't that in the MCU? That was in the MCU. Yeah.
Was it MCU?
That was Homecoming. At the end of Homecoming, when you have like Adrian, like when he was in prison, the Vulture.
Yeah.
He was in prison, and he got that little thing like the guy with the tattoo, like
the tattoo of Scorpion.
I didn't know that he was Boss. Okay.
He was Boss.
Now I can see it.
The insanity quote. That's the guy. Okay, I mixed up the movies.
Yeah. So no, but they were like you see this like that trench coat guy, and then he approached the lizard at the end of the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, and then by the second one you see him in that like lab where you have the vulture wings, you got the Doc Ock like arms. They were setting up for a Sinister Six movie. So that was the initial plan. They wanted to do a Sinister Six movie after Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then later on do Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
but
I think that's
that
really
didn't work out.
Didn't work out, unfortunately. But it really does say something, with the way they did the villains. Some of the scenes, the pacing was a little bit awkward, so I can't really remember most of the movie all that well. But the one thing that I really love, and this is the main reason why I really love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man that much, is the way they handled the whole Gwen Stacy Peter Parker relationship. That's the thing that, I mean, yeah, she died, but that was
spoiler alert from 2014.
Spoiler alert. But it was awesome. It was awesome the way they did the whole thing.
Yeah, the relationship was one of the better parts of those two movies, I would say, as well. And then it kind of helped that they were dating in real life, so the chemistry and the intensity was like real for those scenes. Which, if we could just jump back to the Raimi trilogy, I would say there's so many bad things that I can say about that trilogy, man. But like Kristen Dunst's MJ is like the worst. She's like a horrible person. I don't like Tobey because he's like whiny and just his face is like, it doesn't look like a hero to me, but he does not. I'm sorry. I mean, shallow maybe, but like his acting and all the emotional scenes, I just crack up like every time Uncle Ben dies.
The way he cries with the
I was like, oh my God. And the two of them, like, even the most iconic shot of the first film where upside down kissing. First of all, the context and the situation there is just like horrible. She just kissed a random dude because she's Spider-Man.
He got saved.
She was being a groupie, basically, right? There was no real connection or love. Totally different from the MJ from the comics. So, like, overall, it just doesn't work. I think the worst is in 3 where, was it at the end of 2 where she left the other guy who was about to marry her, and then she ran towards Tobey. I was like,
that was the ending of 2. Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
I'm
back
actually
to
curious though. Like,
mm,
what is comic MJ like? Because I
comic
never read the
MJ
comic.
is like a very she is the cool chick, right? She's the one that where Peter's like a nerdy, like kind of like introverted one.
Hmm.
MJ's the life of the party, and she's like she's the one who keeps calling him like, hey, "What's up, Tiger?" That kind of thing. So that was her
Right.
thing. In the
Not
comics,
you don't feel that way.
she wasn't like really serious about like getting into a relationship and all that. She was like partying, like living life to the fullest, blah blah blah, that kind of a
Ah,
thing. And what happened was, if you could, right? I know you don't. I'm not sure if your parents let you read now, but like, if you can find Spider-Man Blue, this like limited
blue.
series, Blue. It's called Blue. Spider-Man Blue. I'm not sure if let me check, like if the library has it or not. Like I borrowed it like
That's
a long
interesting.
time ago. It's actually a retelling of the whole Gwen Stacy relationship, but like
Oh, okay.
Peter recording his voice notes in his attic, but he's already married to MJ. It's freaking
Uh-huh.
amazing. That story is like one of my favorite Spider-Man stories ever. What happened was, I'm not talking about the graphic novel, but like in the storyline, Gwen's death changed MJ to take life more seriously, and then to make the best out of like each moment, and then have a proper relationship with Peter. So
Oh.
that that's why they're all connected. And there's a lot of depth and like layered stuff. It's not just like oh, I'm a damsel in distress. I'm just gonna scream at the top of my lungs. It's not like that.
Yeah.
She was a badass. That sort of like a
That's
little
cool.
too big of a badass, but then she tried to settle down after the death of Gwen Stacy. So it means a lot to me.
See.
And seeing like Kristen Dunst's MJ on screen, I'm like, nope.
She's not that.
That is not her. What is this? She's just another redhead, It's just screaming. It was bad. I'm sorry. So how did you feel about like, jumping from Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it was all canceled for like, you got the Sinister Six and Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then you see Tom Holland in the MCU. What was your reaction to it?
Still okay with it because it was just, I guess, refreshing. They did a whole new thing, and then that just like trying to fit him into the MCU. I mean, his first appearance was in what, Civil War. It wasn't
Yep.
even like his own movie, which is that's pretty cool. And they did a new thing of the whole great power, great responsibility line. Like they had him himself. There's no Uncle Ben. It's just Tom Holland going like, if you could do the things that you could do, but then you don't, and then the other guy suffers, that's
It's
when
on
like
you.
that's how you got to be responsible. Yeah, that's the whole thing. And it's different, and he really does look like a teenager. I think Tom Holland and I are actually the same age. We were
Oh,
born in the
really?
same year. Yeah. So he fits I guess that true teenager look.
Yeah, he's a small guy as well. So they're kind of like, oh yeah, he's a
And
teenager,
he's
he's a kid.
actually acrobatic, like in his audition and
Yeah, no,
everything.
he
Like,
he he was doing ballet before he got the audition. He was like he knows how
oh,
to move.
yeah,
I thought he was doing Billy Elliot or something like that. I don't know. in
wearing
in the
tights.
UK.
It's
Yeah,
comfortable.
it's his thing. It's his thing. So moving on to the MCU trilogy. Overall, what are your thoughts on it?
MCU trilogy. I mean, well, third movie, awesome. Enough said. But the first two, or at least the first one, Homecoming, it really does have that very coming of age. Even with the soundtrack, the songs that they chose, opening credit scene, it just fits that feel so much. And this is kind of in line with what I wanted to talk about with the generations and the audience that watches when you start to grow older. I guess 2000, what, two? What's the Raimi one, the first
Yeah,
one?
2002.
And yeah, for that era, I guess um, things weren't as progressive at that time. So damsel in distress, people were kind of like, okay. But now, in 2022, 2021, you watch that kind of thing like, damsel in distress sucks. It's terrible. And then, well, growing older, I guess like Andrew Garfield, that would be the millennial-ish era, and that fits that dark-ish version
The
of
angsty.
Spider-Man. Yeah, a little
Well,
bit
actually,
angsty,
to be
a
honest,
little bit
right?
more grounded.
And Andrew wasn't that angsty. For me,
Yeah.
sorry to jump back to that again. Like Andrew was the guy who really gets who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is of
Yes.
the actors, right? Because he was actually a fan before he
Hmm.
got the role as well. So once he got the role, he really knows how to portray,
Play it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, play the character proper because he was quippy and got emotional side, and I don't know,
Mm.
it worked for me. And again, I'm an old guy. I saw Toby when I was much younger, and I was like, no. And then for Andrew, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I was just hating on Toby. Every time I say his name, I see that gif of him trying to. I don't know how to do it. It's just like, yeah. For Andrew, it was like really good. The first trailer for Amazing Spider-Man showed that car thief scene. And when I saw
Oh
that,
yeah.
when he was like, is that a knife? Oh, my only
Yes.
weakness, small
Oh,
knives. I was like,
and then he shoots the.
this guy gets it. He gets it.
That's
He
Spider-Man.
truly gets like who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is. So yeah, I was on board for that. It's just the overall didn't work out for the whole series. But yeah.
But I do agree. That's the thing that I truly love about Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. So MCU Spider-Man really fits that whole Gen Z audience a lot more. The jokes that he makes, the vibe that you get from the movie, just everything that goes along with it feels very Gen Z. Even MJ has that like kind of cynical kind of feel to her that's kind of along the
So
lines of Gen Z, I guess.
well, the MCU MJ, even though it's not it's not Mary Jane. But what's her
Michelle
name again?
Jones.
Michelle Jones, right?
Yeah.
Michelle Jones. So the
Michelle
MCU
Jones.
MJ is closer to the comic book version than Kristen Dunst
Really?
ever because
Ever?
she was badass. Okay, the comic book one
She was.
wasn't
She
that
was.
cynical, but she was more independent badass. And
Hmm.
that's what MJ was in the comic. So I agree. Like for MCU stuff, I enjoy it as well. Like, dude, like overall, it's good. It's all
It
three
is good.
movies. I don't have that big of an issue. You know, they're really like classic moments where, like in the first one, Homecoming, when Vulture and here in the car,
Oh
and they weren't
yeah.
even like driving the daughter
You
and him to
knew.
prom. Dude, that was amazing. John Watts, that scene was like masterly directed. It was just so good. I was like, wow, this is great.
Like one more. Yeah, it's just that good. Who's the guy who acted as
Batman.
Vulture again?
Oh no, the age gap
Vulture.
is
I
like,
can't
okay, I'm
remember.
gonna
It
give you a
really is.
chance.
Need to Google this. I don't know. I don't know. Help me out. I forgot his name.
Michael.
Michael Keaton.
There
Right.
we go. He was Batman. He's
Was
gonna
he
be
Batman?
Batman
Yeah.
again in like the Flash movie. He was also
Oh,
Beetlejuice,
oh
and
my
he's just
God.
like
Okay.
he's a classic. Like
Never
he's a
seen
legend.
any of the
Oh
other
yeah,
movies.
it was great. I actually liked him as a villain, and one of again Marvel movies. A lot of people say like, oh, they have like a villain issue. But the Vulture was great. I was like,
Yeah.
menacing and got like a proper reason to be like who he
Mm.
is. So that really worked for me. And of course, like we're talking about all these Spider-Man movies because of ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us, we want to talk about No Way Home, where all these universes combined. Which okay, first of all, how cool would it be like if we had no
Other
freaking idea
movies.
about this? Like,
That's what they were
like,
trying to do, though.
but all the said, I didn't even look through all the news. I wasn't like Googling all the latest updates or paparazzi shots whatsoever. But I knew that Andrew and Toby's in it. But
How did
imagine,
you know?
like, I see news like here and there and
Okay.
stuff. But imagine if you had no idea. If this is like back in the early 2010s or something. You just walk into the cinema, you watch like, wait,
Mind
hold
blown,
on,
dude.
what's happening? Got the villains. Is it gonna happen? Oh my god, that would like totally
That would
freak
be
everybody out, man. But yeah, let's talk about that scene. First appearance of the other Spider-Man. What was
I
your
mean,
reaction?
first thing, before they even appeared, how hilarious is Ned? And then the way that they gave him magic powers. And the like like little Filipino grandma in the background, and she's like, I'm going to sleep. That was awesome.
Yeah, that scene was
It's
great. That was
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah. It's a nice, like, he's the guy in the chair. We haven't really seen a Spider-Man, a Peter Parker that has that best friend that tags along that way. So it's a nice touch. And then Andrew Garfield appears. You see the silhouette, and you're kind of like, wait, can't be Tom Holland. Is
That's
that?
way too
Oh my
tall.
god!
It's way too lanky
Yeah.
and tall. This is not Tom Holland.
And then he comes in and takes his mask off, and you're like, oh my god, that is what everyone was hoping for.
Yeah, and from that moment, and again, I think this podcast could be named as like, fawning over Garfield or something like that. Because like for me, the
The
moment
way
he
he
took
crawls
off his mask, he just stole the movie. Every single scene, he was, oh my God, amazing. Dude, I'm sure a lot of people agree as well. Like it started trending right afterwards, right? People were like, give us Amazing Spider-Man 3, blah, blah, blah. So, dude, Andrew was just, wow. He was so funny from the get-go. He totally gets the character. And I still think he's the best Spider-Man Peter Parker combination of all time on the big screen.
Agreed. High five.
High five, high five. He was just standing there, and then like MJ threw a bread. I love that scene. He was like, wait, what are you doing? He's
Peter
like,
Tingle.
yes, it's like Spider Jingle. I have it. I just don't have it for bread. Comedic timing, everything was just like so good, so
Yeah.
good. And of course, another one comes in. It's just like
No.
dude with the jacket. I was like,
He looks
it's
cool. I mean, like
he looks
the,
much
the
better
older,
as it.
yeah,
Yes.
matured
Oh,
Spider-Man.
which was the main issue again? Oh, so many main issues in the first trilogy. Everybody looked like they were 30 in the first Raimi movie. Like all the
They
high school
were,
students,
like,
everybody was
20,
30.
30-ish, were they?
30. It's just like Toby looks like, oh, dude, what the hell? How many years did you fail?
They got who was the Flash in the first one again? Joe Manganiello.
Oh, is that Joe? Oh,
Yeah. He was the Flash in
oh my
the
God.
first the Raimi one. And now he's like this big dude in Magic Mike.
Oh man.
Also another clearly an adult.
clearly a grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Toby, he looks better now, and then like age, like weathered and wise old Peter
Which
Parker.
actually reminds me of the Spider-Verse animated movie, that older
Oh.
Peter Parker. Right?
That Peter Parker, okay. That Peter Parker, I love. Peter B. Parker, the guy with the trench coat and the sweatpants,
the beard, the 5 o'clock shadow.
So
Yeah,
all of us old people, when we were watching, was like, I can relate to that guy.
Okay.
A little pouch going on with in the tummy. That's like amazing. So, he's great. He actually reminds me of like Andrew Garfield type. Like he's that lanky, that kind of funny guy as well. Right. He doesn't have, because Toby, again, I never found him funny because he was never funny. He was just like emo. It was unintentionally funny. He was unintentionally funny. You want to talk about that emo scene? Let's go. So everybody knows about this, right? The dancing, like Saturday night, like what the hell? It was so bad. What is this? Why?
I think they knew what it was. They just let him, because that's the thing about and I got this from a YouTube channel, Cinema Wins, not Cinema Sins.
Cinema Wins, yeah.
I love it so much because the
positivity.
Whole thing with, it doesn't make you cool. It just makes you think you're cool. It makes you have no shame. Like you're just confident. But that's the like Peter Parker is not a cool guy. He's not someone who's gonna like sweep women off their feet or do whatever those things are. It just kind of makes him not feel that shame, and he thinks he's cool, so he's just gonna go off and
That whole
like,
sequence. It's not just the dance. It's that jazz club scene. It's that staircase. Do you remember the staircase with the neighbors, like girl feeding
and the
him
girl,
cookies?
the cookies.
She's like, give me some milk.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh God.
And the hair.
Again, okay.
Tobey Maguire.
So,
I mean, he's got range. So
no. Can you name another Tobey Maguire film that's really good?
Brothers.
Apart from Brothers.
Okay. Apart from Brothers, I don't know anything.
That was carried by Jake. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, he's not a good actor. I can't think of like. Just
I really like Brothers. he's all right. He's all right. He's not that bad.
He's not that bad. So back to No Way Home. The two Spideys come from then on. Okay, I mean, a lot of people have spoken about this already as well, but like, we thought that was just gonna be like a cameo, but these guys actually have a full-fledged character arc, and
they did the pointing thing,
even though it was very subtle in the lab, right? It was like
not in your face. Yeah, it was just like, what are you gonna do?
I thought they would do it again while they were waiting, like, you know, on the
full Spidey suit.
Statue of Liberty, like waiting for the villains. They were like, oh, that was a great scene as well. They were just like, you know, just
chilling,
chatting
like bros. Yeah, the whole like fix my back, dude.
That was a call. Oh my God, that I'm sorry again. That scene from the original one where he's like, my back,
my back.
His face. It's just like, dude, how can you grow up and looking at him? That's like, oh, that's my idol. Like he's like an idol kind of actor.
It wasn't meant to be an idol. It was meant to be that nerdy, you know, if you're a nerd, you relate to him.
And a bad actor.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Toby's gonna be like, oh God,
Harry, no. Holds out his bottom lip.
But yeah, that scene was actually really good. The three of them obviously have like a lot of chemistry together, and that again, fawning over and Garfield again. He was so good at that, like, you know, because he was the loser amongst the Spider-Man. Like, you guys fought aliens.
I fought a Russian rhino, dude.
A Russian guy in a rhino suit. That was all I got. And he accepted it, self-deprecating humor, and he was just so good. That part where they were like fighting, it's not working out because they're not fighting together. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man like, okay, I don't know if they made up a plan. We hit one like together. Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. Peter 3. He accepted it already. It was just like so good.
Adorable.
I love Garfield.
And then they
man.
threw it that line, or it's just like, nah, you're amazing. Okay.
Yeah, you're amazing. It's okay. Again, for me, like Toby's words still don't work. I'm like, oh my God. I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I like more passionately hating on Toby. I don't know why. I mean, okay, let's think of like something good.
Say about Toby.
Yeah, but okay, his suit was nice.
His suit was nice. That's
one of the more iconic suits. I like the suit.
His suit,
even though
had muscles.
Yeah, even though like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit's like the best suit. Like Garfield suit was like you see the toy there.
Which
like,
one? They changed it though, didn't they? Like between the first and the second movie.
Yeah, this is the second movie one. So I got this figure.
They want the white lenses and the.
Yeah, it's like very comic accurate. No, that was the best suit. What else is good about the Raimi? Elfman's theme wasn't that bad, you know, but Danny Elfman's like the Spider-Man theme. But to be honest, James Horner's theme for the Amazing Spider-Man is majestic. I go back and I'm like, wow. And you hear these covers by, you know, the YouTubers doing like electric guitar like on it. Dude, it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Such an epic and sort of like in a way timeless as well, you know. Even the MCU Spider-Man theme is like kind of like okay, I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see about that. I can't remember. I can't hum it for
Actually,
the
yeah, I
James
can't
Horner
either.
one. I can, apart from the Raimi ones, like what? I can't remember that as well. Oh, okay, wait. There's something
Reference to
really
the
good about Sam Raimi's trilogy. J.K. Simmons,
yes.
legend. Oh my god, dude,
Always
have you
good.
seen that footage from was it Spider-Man 2? That was a
The
deleted
deleted scene.
scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You wore the freaking suit.
You
Guys,
wore the suit,
if you haven't
knocked
seen
over a
this,
thing.
go Google like Spider-Man 2 deleted scene with like JJ in a Spider-Man suit. He was amazing, dude. That guy, legend.
He's awesome. And he looks ripped in that thing.
And
And he
he's
just
super
goes like
ripped. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's
J.K.
fun,
Simmons
it's
was
goofy.
great. And also, of course, if you want to talk about great villains, you can go back to
Ah,
Melina and of course Goblin. Willem Dafoe.
Dave.
Apparently, yeah, he actually said Dafoe when he
Is
was
it?
like
It's not
19.
Defoe?
It's
Oh,
Defoe,
okay.
but there was a was it like Jimmy Kimmel or something where he came up and
Defoe.
they show that footage where it was like a acting course or something like that on camera. The 19-year-old Willem Dafoe was like Willem Dafoe. Everybody's like, wait, what? Is it Defoe or
I've been saying
Dafoe?
it
You said
wrong.
Dafoe. It's like, is it because you didn't want to correct us and you just went along with Defoe for the past
It's
like 35 years? Wow, Willem Dafoe was great, man, dude. He was
He's awesome.
in the in No Way Home, dude.
The
That
way he
guy was
flips back and forth, dude. It's like Andy Serkis, Gollum, Smeagol level of like I can't tell when he's which whatever.
yes, the first really menacing kind of we don't know what the fuck he's gonna do, right? Like it's like, oh my
Yeah,
god, he's so good. He is so
just
good at that one.
and
Well,
like when he was getting punched and he was still like laughing like
laughing.
insane. Wow,
Such a great
that good.
actor. And when I saw him sitting there with Aunt May, when Peter
Oh,
walked in with that the hood, with like a purple hood, I was like, oh, hold on. Are they gonna do the costume? And they did. It got tattered, and it's sort of like a homage to the the Green Goblin costume from the
uh,
comics, where it got that purple hood and all that stuff. I was like, oh
yeah,
wow,
the
great
green and
way
the
to do that.
purple.
And of course, it's funny. I just want to point this out where when I was watching No Way Home, like first couple of scenes, and I was just telling my wife, you know, Marissa Tomei keeps getting hotter in every Spider-Man movie. And of course, they have to go ahead and kill her because
Mm,
the next movie she's gonna be way too hot. I guess. Oh my god, how do you feel
I
about that?
guess.
How do you feel about the death of Aunt May?
I wasn't expecting it. I thought they just had a thing like before Homecoming was even a thing, and then that's how I guess Peter Parker learns about responsibility. But I guess they just don't even have there's no Uncle Ben or anything. It's Marissa Tomei, it's Aunt May, and she gets killed off. It's really sad. I cried. I actually cried. I wasn't expecting her to die. They're so good at subverting our expectations. The whole way that you see the grenade or the bomb getting thrown, and you just think like, oh, maybe she gets saved. And for a while, she kind of acts like, "Yeah, I'm all right, I'm okay," and then she falls again, and you're like, no, no, don't die at me. And yeah, there's just the way they did the whole thing was so gut wrenchingly like beautiful. It's good in a way.
I thought she was gonna survive as well until she said the line. I was like, oh, she's saying that. Oh no.
The line, yeah.
Like
You
realization. I
know
was like,
the line.
oh no, she said the line.
No.
That means
Uh,
and then
and
she
then
did.
yeah.
But it was a great move because a lot of people were talking about the MCU Spidey as like, he was more like a Tony Stark kind of a Tony Stark's kid, right? Because
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting like all the gadgets from Tony. He never was like that struggling. I mean,
yeah.
it
On his
happened
own.
off screen when
Mm,
Tony first met him, right? He was doing that
okay.
homemade suit and
Mm.
all, but not what we know from the comics, not the struggling because he got access to like Stark Tech and everything. So it's a very like in a way masterful way, right? that Watson,
Yeah.
Kevin Feige probably has a say in this because he's a genius. They managed to turn it all around in this movie by taking away
Reset.
everything that he had, right? And gave us at the end of the movie, at the end of No Way Home, we had the Spider-Man that we all knew from the comics, who's broke,
Hmm.
had to sew his own costume. Actually, kind of looks
Shitty
like,
apartment.
that kind of a lycra look as well. So overall, having Aunt May as the main, turning point, that's the Uncle Ben of the MCU
Mm.
Spider-Man. I think it works, man. I don't have any like big issues with No Way Home at all. Like I really actually don't. I mean, all
Not too much.
even the crappy villains like Electro, he was cool. Jamie Foxx, that's
Yes.
a Jamie
The
Foxx we know.
comic accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, even before that, when he was wearing that like fireman like outfit, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
he was just doing with his like powers, I'm like, that looks badass, man. It's totally
He
different from
really
that
does.
that blue man, the blue meanie
But
looking thing.
the blue meanie. I mean,
Okay, he's
eels, I
not that
guess.
big, but yeah.
But they took away that whole nerdy Electro vibe from the second Amazing Spider-Man, which
And they made a
is
reference to it,
straight up.
right? Like, was it like
Yeah,
the lizard was like, "What happened to your teeth? They're fixed now."
yeah, it's fixed.
I don't know.
Just became cool,
No,
and the way it's just straight up Jamie Foxx.
it
So
they actually fixed it in Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well. Did you notice that?
no,
When
I
he
did
fell
not.
into
Wait,
the eels like tag,
after.
right? For some reason, they zoomed in on his teeth and the gap
It's-
closed.
Getting zapped by electric eels
Just
fixes
go
your
back and
teeth.
watch it. I was like, what was this for? Okay, it fixes your dental issues, I
Genetic
guess.
splicing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
It's pretty cool. And I love the whole way that they do like the soundtracks with electro, like that kind of dubsteppy, like just
Ah,
to let you know that he's there. It's kind of cool. But my only thing, like with the villains for No Way Home, is like, is it that easy to fix them? You just you get some gadgets, I guess use science and like taking away their powers or makes them normal again, and all of a sudden they're good regular people once more.
yeah, I mean, it's
That
so like
was
a
kind of weird for me.
yeah, it's like a quick fix, like the Deus Ex Machina kind of a thing. But I think I was still by the time all of those things happened, I was still swept up by my. We have to talk about this. Like my favorite scene from the movie. I teared up, and I hardly, you know, my black heart hardly like jumps for these kind of things. But this worked on so many levels. When the
Was it
MCU
the
MJ was falling,
oh
Tom Holland
Andrew?
tried to reach. You got Goblin taking him away, and you see Andrew's face and just
Oh,
jump. I was like, "Oh no, they're doing this." It's a little on the
they
nose,
are.
but it worked for me. Like, I was like,
That facial expression he
his
had.
acting, right? This time he didn't use
It's
his
like he
web.
relived it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because those were the lines, right? He was asking Gwen in Amazing Spider-Man 2, like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" No response because she did.
Yeah.
And here he was holding her like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then his face just like,
It's like, oh,
I was
I
like,
did it this time.
it hit me. I was like, "Whoa, hold on, wasn't expecting
Same.
that. What the hell?" And then
It's
she
just
she asked
watching
him.
that.
I
Yeah,
was
with
like,
the
"Are
way
you
that he
okay?"
was diving for her,
Yeah, the
it just
diving
brings
part,
you back.
and he
Exactly.
learned, right? He didn't throw his web at her. He just like, "I'm gonna like grab her, like tackle her like
Never.
that to be safe." That scene just blew me away when we go like, ah, I said that
It-
okay, worth it already. This movie worth just for that one
for
scene.
Andrew Garfield.
For God and his acting as well, dude. I'm
He is great. I
so
mean, he's
sorry.
the
Oh
same
my God.
ish way in interviews too. Like
No,
the way that he speaks, he's fast and just
he's funny.
he's
Like he's
Peter
charming. He's
Parker.
charismatic as hell. Like man crush, Like he's younger than I am.
Same.
He is. I think he is.
Uh,
He is 37 or something, right? He's still young.
I guess so. I could Google it, but yeah, he's
He's
really
37.
cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Um,
It's it's just
his
good.
acting really drove that home. Where it could be like again on the nose or be too campy. Dude, I'm sorry. Imagine it's Toby acting that too, trying to. Are you okay?
The cry.
The crying face. Like, oh my god! I'm sure somebody's gonna like Photoshop it, ruin the whole scene for me. I'm like, no.
Maguire's
Oh
crying
my
face.
god! Why?
It's a gift in its own way. It's if you take the movie too seriously, it's like, oh, what is that face? But if you kind of like, take it for face value, it's a goofy movie. You laugh at it. It's just goofy crying face. It's a meme. It's a thing of its own.
The whole trilogy is a meme. I can't take it
fun.
seriously at all. Everything is super campy. Raimi's a great director for his first hit, of course, like Evil Dead. It worked because it was like campy horror, but like with gore and artsy stuff. It worked. Something serious. So I'm kind of like a little concerned that I didn't realize, he's doing Doctor Strange in the
Wait, he
multiverse
is?
he's the director from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So I am slightly concerned. You're like, dude, what you gonna do, man?
I mean, if it's MCU, I have faith.
Yeah, I mean, Feige's there, like sitting behind, like no clapping, no clapping,
no clapping. I mean, they were like watching the trailer with the whole like kind of reference to what if. I think they have a little bit of the horror vibe going on, so it could work. I
mean, you did watch What If, right? So
no, I did not.
You did not. So that's a thing. And we thought that I watched the whole series. I thought it was great, right? It's fun. Didn't know that it was going to be super connected. I think we had that like a What If SupCast as well. We were talking with like Carlo and Vic. So like we don't think that it might be super connected to the main MCU.
Like a fun one-off thing.
And then like the Dark Strange showed up and like, oh. So they're making like even casual MCU fans who go back and watch everything. Now the list is like getting longer because I got all the Spider-Man.
That's how you get the fandom in, That's how you get everyone in.
Very smart indeed. So what do you think the future is going to be for Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't really know. I guess that's what they're trying to go for, the full reset to back to how he would or should be in the comics without all the Avengers and all that stuff. So maybe a little bit of that, bring in more of the Sinister Six. But that's not to say that he's not still tied with the rest of the Avengers and everything. It's just that they don't know that he's Peter Parker. They still know Spider-Man. Right? They just don't know Peter Parker.
Which is super weird. They were like, oh yeah, that kid that we fought together with Thanos and all that. I can't remember his name. Like, what's his name? How come we don't know? I mean, I don't know. That ending though. I mean, it's a cool thing to reset, but there's a lot of plot holes or like stuff where you're like, oh, a lot of questions. Like the whole
lot of questions. They're gonna have to tie it up somehow. I don't know. But
I hope they
I feel like I don't know. They should still have him back with MJ at some point, right? Like, isn't that a thing that should happen?
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably do that, but right now I'm more obsessed about Garfield. So I hope they do like Amazing Spider-Man 3. People are saying like, oh, with Venom. Like, I didn't watch Venom. I saw some clips and I still both Venom films. I'm like, sorry, I can't handle the 10-cent graphics. Again, it's too corny and like I don't know, man. I love Tom Hardy. He's a great actor, but I heard it's fun. But I don't know. Maybe I'll watch. I've seen the key scenes already. Like the one F-bomb that they put in for Let There Be Carnage. Like, okay, it's all right, that thing,
like lines.
Maybe I'm too cynical. I don't know. But yeah, for the future, they are developing the fourth MCU Spider-Man film because like the movie made like $1 billion within like the
Why
first
not?
week or something, right? Why not? Why not? Right?
Can't
Everybody likes the
possibly top
bunnies.
it, but sure.
Tom Holland signed on for forever, I think. So um, I don't know. I think the multiverse of madness will show us like how extensive this whole multiverse is going to be because we don't know.
We
We
don't
don't
know.
know the Sonyverse and all this like whether it's going to be like
Sonyverse.
this is a Sonyverse, right? They got
Yeah.
Mobius coming out. They got
Oh,
another one that's in development. I forgot. They have a few under the Sonyverse that they're developing as well.
I don't know. Uncharted? No, that's not it. Another Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Oh my God! What if they start like mixing up other
Video games.
universes, not just Marvel comics? You have Uncharted, like Spider-Man and Uncharted.
That'd be too much.
It'll be like Fortnite all over again. Like everybody's there.
Oh no, Fortnite.
Right?
Okay.
Fortnite got everybody.
That's
DC,
true.
Marvel,
A little bit much.
Everybody got it here. So, if you had to score No Way Home, would you put a score on it?
Would I put a score? Jeez, I don't know what's the bar here. Maybe an 8 or a 9. It's really cool what they did, like kind of building up marketing and trying to keep it a secret. But you kind of just had a feeling they should be in there, and then they are, and it's just that payoff feels good, and I like how they did. I think one of my favorite scenes was also how Tom Holland was like really intent on killing and like bashing in Willem Dafoe at the end, and then the rest of them come into like, no, bro, it's okay, don't do it. that was kind of cool.
What was that? I don't know. I'm sorry. Tobey again got stabbed, and I was like, oh, he's gonna die? And he's like, nah, it's just a flesh wound. I'm fine. I'm from New York. I was like,
Aunt May dies, but Toby's okay. Sure.
Toby's okay. A lot of people are like, saying like, oh, let's give like Tobey and Raimi a fourth film. Like, why?
Give Andrew another film, please.
So for me, the score out of 10 would be like Andrew Garfield out of 10.
Andrew Garfield out of 10.
I'm gonna watch it again, like because of Andrew, and hopefully he'll get his Amazing Spider-Man 3 some ways. Like, wouldn't it be cool if it's like it takes place after No Way Home, and then he goes back to his universe?
How many timelines are we splitting up into?
Like it's like Logan, but it could be like a film to end the trilogy, and where he's in a a darker place, but because of the MCU experience, he became like, oh, I'm gonna be Spider-Man again. One last heroic effort. He could die, I don't care, but a really good send-off film. That would be nice. Cool. Or at the end of it, you got Gwen come in as Spider-Gwen.
Yes,
that would be
yes,
because I see some artwork.
And then Miles Morales. Yeah.
Miles as well shows up like, hello. So many things. Oh my God. But yeah, I think overall, I guess if you guys are still listening to us like fawn over Andrew Garfield, we love the film. Hope you guys have seen it. If you haven't, like, it's been 3 weeks, man. Come on, like, New Year's over, Christmas over, just go watch it. And we definitely want to hear like your thoughts as well, and how much you hate me because I am definitely crapping on the Raimi trilogy, which I still think cannot CMI. Even though I'm from that era, like cannot. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. What other movies or even we can actually do like an old Spider-Man movie, like SupCast if you want, even though we cover most of it. We get like opinions from other guys. Yeah, see, like we do need that. That is something that we were missing for this SupCast. We need somebody who's a big fan of Raimi trilogy, and then I want to hear their perspectives. They're like,
Really? You're gonna defend Raimi?
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk to these people,
Let's see what they got. Aside from Triple J. Nah. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you, Contrell, for joining us for your first ever
It's been fun.
SupCast. We'll have you again for like other MCU stuff and FPS games, I guess. And this is the podcast where we just like talk about random stuff. So, if you have any other topics that you want to suggest, let us know. And
Charlie Cox.
The what?
Charlie Cox, the way he showed up.
Oh my God, we totally forgot about Charlie.
Yeah.
He just showed up for a bit, like all right,
like one brief scene. I'm
okay,
a good lawyer.
And then afterwards, like, okay, then. And then Kingpin shows up in Hawkeye, and then again, spoilers for Hawkeye. Have you seen it?
They're all. I haven't, but I've heard things, so it's okay.
Things. Kingpin shows up in Hawkeye as well, so yeah. You should have seen it, man. It's been like 2 weeks as well, I think.
It's a whole series. How many episodes? Six-ish episodes?
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. I still have to make my way through Loki.
Oh, my God, dude. Come on. You got to catch up.
I do.
Yeah, I think we could go on and geeking out about this. But, yeah, we're going to end the podcast right here. But we should be doing more. What's the next one? What's the next MCU stuff coming up?
MOM, I guess. Is that the one?
The what?
Multiverse of Madness. Or is there another one before that?
That's March?
I don't know.
It's around there. Oh, we definitely probably have to do something for Hawkeye. So once you've seen it, we'll do a SupCast. Cool?
Sure.
All right, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.
Usher music.
we should play the Amazing Spider-Man theme right now. James Hottie, go check it out. Okay. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Sup, nerd.